Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 2nd of April. 4 injured as Pakistan continues to violate ceasefire along border in India's Jammu and Kashmir. US Special Envoy Khalilzad stresses on women's role in Afghan peace talks. And Nepal's Prime Minister reviews situation in storm-hit region in southern Nepal. And now for all the details. At least 4 civilians were injured as Pakistan continued to resort to ceasefire violation along the border in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Tuesday. This came a day after a border security force personnel and a 5-year-old girl were killed in Pakistani shelling in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir. At least 4 civilians were injured as Pakistan continued to resort to ceasefire violation along the border in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Tuesday. The injured, including a 14-year-old boy, an elderly woman and 2 more women, were brought to the district hospital Rajouri region in the early hours of Tuesday morning. There has been continued shelling by Pakistani troops along the border in Rajouri and Poonch districts of Jammu and Kashmir since the past 2 days. A 5-year-old girl and a border security force personnel were killed on Monday due to the firing and a dozen others were injured.
4 पेशेंट्स रात को आए हैं मेंढर से जो LOC शेलिंग में जिनको फायर आर्म इंजरीज हुई हैं, जिनमें एक 14 साल का लड़का है जिसको काफ़ी ज़्यादा इंजरीज हुई हैं, लेफ्ट फुट पे, लेफ्ट लेग पे, राइट लेग पे, प्लस एक 85 इयर्स ओल्ड एज्ड लेडी है जिसको काफ़ी लार्ज पेनिट्रेटिंग वुंड आया है और साथ में 2 लेडीज़ और हैं, उनको भी पेनिट्रेटिंग वुंड्स आए हैं।
गोले पड़ते हैं जिनमें गिनती नहीं आती।
तो कितने बंदे हैं आपकी फैमिली के?
हमारी फैमिली के यहाँ 3 आदमी हैं।
The troops of arch rivals India and Pakistan intermittently exchanged fire across the border despite an agreement in 2003 that a ceasefire should be observed along the working boundary. Both New Delhi and Islamabad blame each other for resorting to unprovoked firings. Moving on, Kashmiri activist Dr. Shabir Chaudhary has blamed that it is part of Islamabad's agenda to force people in Pakistan-administered Kashmir to migrate and further change the demography of the illegally occupied region through construction of hydropower plants. He also accused Pakistan of trampling upon the state-subject laws in the region.
Prominent Kashmiri activist Dr. Shabir Chaudhary has blamed that it is part of Pakistan's agenda to force people in Pakistan-administered Kashmir to migrate and to change the demography of illegally occupied region through construction of hydropower plants. Chaudhary said that once the Neelam Jhelum and the newly proposed Kohala power projects are completed, they will benefit only Pakistan. There will be, however, serious economic and environmental consequences for the local people, he said. He blamed Islamabad of trampling upon the state's subject laws and said it is a well-thought policy of Islamabad that the indigenous people of Pakistan-administered Kashmir will become a minority in their own homeland.
मुजफ्फराबाद के बासी जो हैं वो लोग जो नीलम की साइड से आते हैं, इनको आपको मजबूर होकर इनको यहाँ से हिजरत करनी पड़ेगी। दे वर सेटल्ड इन पाकिस्तानी एरिया। उसका फ़ायदा किसको पहुँचेगा? हमें नहीं फ़ायदा पहुँचेगा, ये पाकिस्तान को पहुँचेगा। विद टाइम ये लोग भी पाकिस्तानी बन जाएंगे। तो बड़ी वेल थॉट पॉलिसी है इनकी।
Residents in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have long accused that they are treated as second-class citizens by Islamabad and denied even basic rights. A part of India's erstwhile princely province of Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan-administered Kashmir was illegally annexed by Pakistan over 6 decades back. Islamabad continues to control the region through a puppet administration and a semblance of democracy.
In news from Afghanistan, U.S. Special Envoy Zalmay Khalilzad held meetings with top Afghan government officials and members of the civil society to discuss the ongoing peace efforts and the urgency of making progress in intra-Afghan talks. It was Khalilzad's fourth visit to Kabul since last September, when he was appointed as the Special U.S. Envoy for Peace.
U.S. Special Envoy for Afghanistan Zalmay Khalilzad on Monday held a number of meetings with Afghan officials and members of the civil society to discuss the ongoing efforts for peace and the urgency of making progress in intra-Afghan talks. His first meeting was with President Ashraf Ghani's Special Envoy Umar Daudzai and Ghani's Chief of Staff Abdul Salam Rahimi. Khalilzad also met with Kabul and provincial representatives of the Afghan Women's Network. While Afghans alone will decide the composition of their delegation for talks, women must be at the table during all negotiations about peace and Afghanistan's future, he tweeted after the meeting. This comes at a time when Afghan women are raising voices to be part of the peace process, as they fear the freedoms eked out since US-backed Afghan forces overthrew the Taliban in 2001 are about to slide backwards if the group once again becomes part of the government. Last month, Khalilzad wrapped up 16-day talks with Taliban members in Doha, where they reportedly agreed in draft on withdrawal of US forces from Afghanistan and counter-terrorism assurances.
In news from Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan authorities on Monday destroyed more than 767 kilograms of cocaine with an estimated value of more than $100 million at a special facility near capital Colombo. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena, who inspected the process, reiterated his desire to carry out capital punishment for repeat drug offenders.
Sri Lankan authorities destroyed more than 767 kilograms of cocaine with an estimated value of more than $100 million on Monday at a special facility near the capital Colombo. The drugs were transported under heavy security to the specialized facility in the free trade zone near the international airport. They were weighed and then dissolved in special containers under the supervision of judicial officials. The liquid cocaine was to be later taken away to be burned and destroyed. Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena also inspected the process and said that he would set a date to carry out the death penalty against convicted drug smugglers as the country pushes ahead with a plan to reintroduce the death penalty for drug offences.
මේ පිළිබඳව මර්ධනය කියන කාරණාවේදී දඬුවම් දීම ඉතාමත් අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. ඒ නිසා මේ රටේ මරණීය දණ්ඩනය අනුග්‍රහ ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ නීතිගත වෙලා තිබෙනවා, සහතික වෙලා තිබෙනවා. ඒක ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙලා නැහැ. ඒ ක්‍රියාත්මක නොවීම තමයි මේ රටේ අපරාධ පාතාල මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය නීතිරෝධී මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය වැඩි වෙන්න හේතු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඉදිරි දිනවලදී මරණීය දණ්ඩනය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමක් කරනවා. ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් නාම ලේඛනත් මෙවන්ට පිළියෙල කරලා අවසానයි. දිනෙත් අපි තීන්දුව කරලා ඉවරයි.
The Sri Lankan government had begun advertising in February for the position of executioners. The hardline policy is in part inspired by the Philippines' war on drugs, where thousands have died in encounters with police.
Moving on to news from Nepal, Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Monday visited the storm-hit areas in Bara district and met the survivors. The severe rainstorm that swept through parts of southern Nepal on Sunday killed more than 30 people and injured around 400.
Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli visited storm-hit region in Bara district and met survivors on Monday evening after over 24 people were killed and hundreds were injured in a severe thunderstorm on Sunday that swept through southern parts of the country. The storm, accompanied by heavy rainfall, destroyed buildings, uprooted trees, electric and telephone poles, crushing over 30 people to death and injuring more than 400. Oli took a stock of the situation as he visited the storm-ravaged district and interacted with the injured undergoing treatment in the hospital. Bara is located about 39 miles south of Kathmandu and borders India's eastern province of Bihar. Pre-monsoon thunderstorms are common in Nepal during the spring season but are rarely of an intensity that cause high casualties.
Residents in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir have been gathering at the grievance cell set up by the governor of the province, Satyapal Malik, which aims to resolve the day-to-day issues. Public meetings or Janta Darbars are being organized on regular intervals under the complaint redressal mechanism set by the governor's office.
Residents in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir gather at the grievance cells set up by the governor of the province, Satyapal Malik, which aims to resolve the issues of the locals. Public meetings or Janata Darbars are being organized on regular intervals under the complaint redressal mechanism set up by the governor's office. Over 50,000 complaints have been reportedly addressed in the last 9 months by the grievance cell.
मैं तो ये आपसे कहूँगा कि अगर ये दरबार महीने में 5, 6 दफ़ा 7 दफ़ा भी हों और ये रिमोट एरियाज़ में जाएं, वहाँ तक लोगों तक पहुँचें ताकि लोगों को देखें कि उनकी पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम्स क्या, उनको एड्रेस करें, तो ये बहुत हद तक लोगों को राहत मिल सकती है।
ज़रिया नहीं है कोई, किसके पास जाए, कहाँ जाए, क्या पहले सेक्रेटरीट पे जाते थे हम, तो वहाँ से भी यही हाँ आज कर लेंगे, आज को ना सेक्रेटरीट जाने की ज़रूरत है ना किसी जगह।
India's Jammu and Kashmir has been under governor's rule since June 2018, when India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party pulled out of a coalition with Regional People's Democratic Party or PDP.
Around 15 members of the transgender community exchanged marital vows during a mass wedding ceremony organized for them in India's central Raipur city. The initiative aimed to empower the community members and give them equal opportunities in the society.
In a first of its kind mass wedding ceremony organized in Raipur city of India's central Chhattisgarh province recently, as many as 15 members of the transgender community exchanged wedding vows. Brides and grooms from different parts of the country gathered with their family members in the city to take part in the ceremony, which was performed as per Hindu rituals. The ceremony was organized with an aim to empower the community members and give them equal opportunities in the society.
लोग सोचते हैं एक लड़का लड़की घर बसा सकते हैं, नहीं होता है। दुनिया में इतिहास बनने जा रहा है कि एक किन्नर लोग की शादी हो रही है। बहुत ज़्यादा खुश हैं हम लोग।
आज हमारे जीवन साथी मिल रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है। हमारे किन्नर को जीवन साथी मिल रहे हैं, एक दूसरे के दुख तकलीफ समझने वाले मिल रहे हैं, एक दूसरे के साथ देने वाले मिल रहे हैं। इससे अच्छी बड़ी और क्या बात हो सकती है।
Being a sexual minority, especially transgender or intersexual, is met with a lot of frowning in India. Families generally disown these children, who are then taken in by the transgender community and trained to beg and are often forced into prostitution.
A 7-day-long elementary snow adventure camp was organized recently in India's northern hill resort town of Narkanda, in which students were taught skiing skills. Situated at approximately 2,700 meters above the sea level, Narkanda is a popular winter sports destination among tourists across India.
A 7-day-long elementary snow adventure camp was organized recently in the hill resort of Narkanda in India's northern Himachal Pradesh province, in which students were taught skiing skills. Scores of students hailing from Indian Institute of Tourism and Management were seen practicing skiing at Narkanda's Domri slope as snowfall continued in the upper reaches of the country. During the camp, the students were offered elementary course of skiing by the experts of the winter sport.
Look forward, that's all.
This is really exciting, and this is very unique because it's very adventurous. Everyone has to learn this activity, and it gives some confidence also. When you come to this, you can teach someone also. When you come to this place, when you come with your family or friends, so you can come with the ski poles, you can rent, and you can do this activity.
विंटर स्पोर्ट्स से रिलेटेड जो स्कीइंग है उसके कैंप्स बहुत ज़्यादा चले हैं एज़ कम्पेयर टू प्रीवियस, क्योंकि सब्जेक्ट टू स्नो रहता है हमारा ये स्कीइंग का। और इसमें बेसिक कोर्स के चले हैं, इंटरमीडिएट चले हैं, एडवांस कोर्स यहाँ पे चले हैं। जो अभी जो कोर्स हो रहा है ये एलिमेंट्री कोर्स हो रहा है।
Situated at approximately 2,700 meters above the sea level, Narkanda is a popular winter sports destination among tourists across India. Skiing started in the hill resort in 1980, and ever since, training camps have been organized on regular intervals.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.